Hello and welcome. This is part 2 to my video on practicing Chopin's Ballade number 3. I didn't expect it to be that popular, part 1, so of course I'm making part 2 to make everybody happy. I think I reached about the midway point in part 1, and now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to attempt to try to make it 20 minutes. I'm going to try to go through the second half. So excuse me if I jump around or if I don't take enough time, but I'm going to try to go through the second half in about 20 minutes. So if you have a score, I think I left off in measure 134. So it's taken in measure 134. This is Ballade number 3, opus 47. And it is, at least at this time in my life, it's probably my favorite ballade. I just love it. I love practicing this ballade. I love everything about it. And I think it's Chopin's most succinct ballade, in that I think pianists, lesser advanced pianists, are going to have an easier time playing this ballade than any of the other 3 ballades. So in other words, it's the easiest of the ballades. It's not easy, but it's the least difficult, I think, of the 4 ballades, technically speaking. But let's take measure 134. You know, measures 134 through 143 are some of my absolute favorite Chopin passages. It's probably one of my top favorite Chopin passages in all of his music. Let me play it for you. This is a little bit slow. It's under tempo. I just love that. I think this is one of his greatest passages in all of his music. I just love this passage. I just play it. I could play this 1,000 times and not get sick of it. Let me go over it again. Now listen to these chords. Now when you get here, oh look, he throws in that dissonant note there. And then, so that dissonance there, that real sharp, that sharp dissonance is resolved here with a nice E flat major. And then he has, he does mark D crescendos. So he has here, he has it like a D crescendo. So he's writing in this romanticism into the music. You know, if it weren't written out, if he didn't put those hairpins in there, you'd probably want to do it anyway. But, you know, if this were Bach, it would be maybe something like this. And that would be like Bach. But this is Chopin here. So he has the expression written in. So I'm not going to speed it up or slow it down. He writes sostenuto here. I'm just going to expand the dimensions of the dynamics. So. I'll say it again, I just love this so much. And you know, this passage is excellent just to practice on its own, because the left hand, if you're a pianist, say an intermediate level pianist, and you want Chopin arpeggios encapsulated into maybe 10 measures or something like that, this is ideal just to practice this. So you could just practice these measures as an etude. These as an etude. There's some large ones here. This one, that one's very large. So he has some very large spanning arpeggios here that, unfortunately, if you want to play Chopin, you just have to open up your fingers and I don't have the largest hands or the largest fingers, but somehow I make that work. I mean, it's a little awkward and it's not easy to do, but if you rotate your hand well and use your fingers as little spikes, that's basically what they are, just little spikes that are going into the keys, you can achieve this nice arpeggio technique. So this is an excellent arpeggio study in itself here. So let's go on. After he cadences here, leave the pedal down. He does have a crescendo here going up, and he has accents on those. I think that occurred earlier, actually. Yes. In part one, it actually occurred here earlier in that section. I'm sure you remember that. It was in a different key. So what Bach's doing here is he's transitioning to C sharp minor. So remember that this ballade is an A flat major. And it's kind of rare actually for a major key. Chopin loved his minor keys so much that sometimes you're really longing for major keys because he wrote so many minor key works. So you're going along in a nice, A flat major, going back to like measure 115. You have this nice open major sound here. And now what he does is after he transitions, I'll call that the B theme. The B theme comes back here in A flat major. Remember the first time it occurred, it was in, what key was it in? Yeah, it starts in C. Time it occurs, it's in C. And that's also another good way to practice these, is you just go through that C major section, like maybe it's about half a page, and then right after that you go and you do it in A flat major, and you can practice reading in a different key and practice also memorizing in a different key. So now what Bach does is he brings us into C sharp minor. And this section is one of the problems I have with modern performances and modern pianists and sort of the mainstream way of doing things is, and you should know by now that BachScholar, me, Corey, also known as BachScholar, I'm not mainstream. I have different opinions on things. And so when if you hear my complete performance of this sometime in the very near future, if I perform it on YouTube, you'll get to hear the whole thing from beginning to end, and you'll hear that in this, when I get to C sharp minor here in measure 156 and 157, when it goes to C sharp minor, I don't speed up. everyone speeds up. They'll do that, and it drives me crazy. It really just drives me crazy, because they'll be going along like this. Actually, you know, they usually play it a little faster than I played it, but anyway, just to make my point, I'll slow it down a little bit. Now you're going along at this nice pace like this. Now, why not just keep it the same? So I like to do this. Slower. That's substantially slower than all other pianists play it, but it's better, and it's better, and I'll prove to you it's better, because you don't have this sudden, all of a sudden you're just getting faster. I don't understand it. I don't understand the aesthetic behind that. For example, you can go listen to Michel Kahn's performance of this, a very well-known concert pianist. Michel Kahn, who otherwise I like very much her performance of this ballade. It's one of the better performances of this ballade. But when she gets here, when she arrives in measure 157, she totally fudges it. It's totally unprofessional playing for such a professional. She won, like, for about 4 measures, she just totally fudges the left hand. I mean, I'm surprised she didn't do it over, because it's so, like, very unprofessional for 4 measures. I mean, it sounds like a grade 5 piano student or something. It really is pretty bad. The reason why she fudges it is because she tries to go too fast. And all pianists try to go too fast there. So really, you need to just slow it down. So don't go any faster than you've set up the tempo before. I mean, it's an easy rule, easy to follow. Let me show you again. Okay, I'm going to play from measure 146. Just the accumulation of sound. Okay, let me give you a tip here. This is another one of my favorite passages in all of Chopin, which is one reason why I probably rank this as probably my favorite ballade. And so after all of this C sharp minor stuff in the left hand, did you notice that sounds better? That's a lot better than this. Okay, let me pretend like I'm the average pianist, your average competition pianist. I just won the Tchaikovsky competition. Okay, listen to how I play it. They're nice here. And they do this. They do that. Okay, I'm not exaggerating. That's how they do it. All pianists speed up substantially there. They go about 30% faster at least. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay? Don't. Okay, so measure 165. Now, when you get here, I hear a lot of pianists play this and they don't bring the left hand out enough with the thumb. So bring the thumb out. I'll slow it down. You really need to bring that out more than you think. More than you think. Because I don't hear that enough in a lot of pianists. So. And change the pedal. Those chords are on the off beat. They're on 1, 2, 3. It's in 6/8, so it's 1, 2, 3 on beat 3 of 6/8. It's on beat 3 and on beat 6. So they're syncopated, but you need to change the pedal on that syncopated note. Well, you can leave it down here, and then change the pedal here, and then here, and then here. I like to go pedal, 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 Did you hear all those thumbs? The thumbs in the left hand? I don't hear that. I don't hear that in like 80% of pianists playing, even professionals. So you need to bring your thumb out and then enhance it with the pedal. That will just really just do wonders for this passage. Also, don't play it so fast. Just slow it down. It doesn't have to be so rip-roaring fast. So, you know, just like the C sharp minor section. No, notice something. Listen, same tempo. See? It sounds like a kind of a spooky Bach. It's very Bachian. So, like I said, don't play it fast. Don't do it, and keep that same speed. So you're coming along. This is one of the most difficult passages here, and I like this a lot. I've been practicing this a lot, very slowly, and so I'm going to go over this very slowly here, taking from measure 173, and so I'm going to play it first with no pedal. goes on forever. This goes on forever. Okay, from measures 179, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 measures is nothing but the circle of fifths sort of going down. So this is, I think, one of the longest circle of fifths progressions that I know in all of piano music, actually. I don't know any other place. I don't know even how many times that occurs, but so he does it once, then he goes down, and then he goes down again. So he's going down by 5, which is going up by 4. Down a fifth, down a fifth. And it's not easy. It's not an easy passage by any means. It's taken a long time actually to get into my fingers. So don't think that this is easy by any means. So let me play now. Let me play a little slower, since this is a rough spot, from measure 173. With pedal, just a little bit faster now. That's good practice. Do you notice how my tempo was just slow enough to where I barely hit any wrong notes? Everything was very accurate and very well placed. That's the kind of practice tempo you want to achieve. There was a very famous pianist by the name of John Browning. And John Browning used to say that the best practice speed is the speed that's just a moderate speed. Nothing fast, but not too slow. And so that would be something like this. So a good practice speed, I mean the performance speed would be. That would be more like my performance speed. I play it slower than everyone, as you know. So taking that down several notches. To me, that's a slow, comfortable speed to practice it at. Next comes a great part here, measure 183. And in measure 183 starts just this wonderful, wonderful section that I don't know, it's so hard to explain the harmonies, just strange sounds and strange harmonies. So let me just, I'm sort of running out of time, so I want to just play through this slowly for you. And I want you to just listen carefully. I'm going to play it slow, but just listen carefully to all the tones. It's just amazing. Sorry, let me start that again. Hold on. Okay. says here, when you reach measure 209, you have this, he has this E flat pedal point in the left hand, and then he has this chromatic, actually pretty, not very hard at all. I think it's technically very easy to play, but it sounds harder than it is. So he has this pedal point. So genius the way he does that, the way that he works his way. He actually, if you look at this whole large section, the whole thing from measure 183 starts with B, and then it goes up to C, and then it goes up to D. And then when he goes up to D, like in measure 202, he's sort of in G minor, and he works his way back. He wants to work his way back to A flat major, of course. So he needs to go to E flat. So he uses E flat as the pedal point here. Now listen to this. That's correct, okay? In measure 212, listen, I'll play it slow. That's correct. Okay, I was recently teaching a student, and the student was playing a piece, and every little dissonance that came, I think it was like a jazz kind of piece, and every sort of weird kind of chord that came, he questioned the chord. He said, this doesn't sound right. This sounds wrong. This is one of those chords that actually sounds wrong, but it is right. Because he's pivoting, the way that he's pivoting is he has to use a sharp at the same time as the left hand, it clashes with a note just a half step off. So for just a split second, you have a clashing of notes, but they go, and after that it's resolved. So you have I love this ending. I'm looking at the clock. Oh, I only have like 2 more minutes and I have to go. So let me just wrap this up. Another tip, don't just speed up all of a sudden. Notice this. He says stretto in measure 227. Stretto, that means to speed up. That's the first time in the whole piece he said to speed up. Yet pianists speed up all over the place. So keep that in mind, that really the only place I really speed up is here at the end. So I pretty much play the whole ballade pretty steady all the way through at one steady tempo, and then pretty much just on the last page, or from measure sort of 227 onwards, then it kind of gets faster. But don't just all of a sudden go faster. So most pianists do this. They go way, way too fast. So you have to pace it. Pace your speeding up there. So speed up strategically, but not all of a sudden too much. So you need to do this. Start slow. you hear how it's speeding up, but it's not like uncontrollably speeding up, and also the dynamics get more. And then after that, also a tip, since your left hand is here already, take these with the left hand. It's much easier than trying to do it all with one hand, because your left hand is there already. So see, left hand, same thing here. So that run going down can be a lot faster. And notice that Chopin says to speed up only like on the last page. So that's the way I approach this ballade. I approach it the way that Chopin wrote it. I don't speed up where he says not to speed up. That's what I do. Experiment with it and see how you like it. So thank you for joining me on this ballade. I got through it just in time, and now I have a piano lesson to teach. So I will see you in the next video.